Money can buy you a yacht, but it can't buy back your reputation once I'm done with you. I watched the Coast Guard boats surround my ex-husband's gleaming yacht, their sirens painting the water red and blue. 5 years of his lies were finally catching up to him. The champagne-soaked party guests froze as officers boarded the vessel. And there was Derek, my children's father, looking directly at me standing on the shore with my phone raised, documenting every second. The look on his face was worth every tear I'd cried. My name is Melissa Harrington. 3 years ago, I was Melissa Walsh, wife to Derek Walsh, mother to our 2 children, and completely blind to the man I had married. We lived in a beautiful colonial in the suburbs of Boston. I worked part-time as a graphic designer while Derek built his real estate development business. From the outside, we were picture perfect, until the day I found the emails. They weren't love letters to another woman. That would have been simpler. They were correspondence with an offshore bank in the Cayman Islands. Derek had been hiding money, a lot of money, for years. When I confronted him that night, his charming facade cracked. "It's business, Mel. You wouldn't understand." He didn't even look up from his phone. "I understand numbers just fine," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I understand that you've been lying to me for our entire marriage." His eyes finally met mine, cold and unfamiliar. "This conversation is over." 2 weeks later, he moved out. 3 months after that, divorce papers arrived. The custody battle was brutal. Derek hired an aggressive attorney who painted me as unstable and financially irresponsible. Despite this, I managed to get primary custody of Emma, 12, and Liam, 9. The judge ordered Derek to pay $2,800 monthly in child support. I never saw a penny. Every month, the same pattern. Excuses about cash flow problems. Business investments tying up his liquidity. Promises it would come next week. The children's needs didn't pause for his excuses. Liam needed new glasses. Emma outgrew her winter coat. The orthodontist bills piled up. I took on more graphic design clients, working late into the night after the kids were asleep. I sold my wedding ring. I borrowed money from my sister when the furnace died in January. All while Derek's business apparently flourished. Then came the Instagram post that changed everything. "Mom, is that Dad's boat?" Emma held her phone toward me, her expression confused. On the screen was Derek, tanned and smiling, standing on the deck of a gleaming white yacht. The caption read, "New toy. The Sea Duction is officially ready for summer adventures. Hatch blessed, #yacht life." My hands shook as I took the phone. The yacht was massive, at least 50 feet. Custom teak decking, high-end everything. While I was stretching pasta dinners to last 3 nights, he was buying a floating mansion. "Maybe it's his company's boat?" Emma suggested. But her voice held no conviction. That night, after the kids were asleep, I dove into Derek's social media. He'd been careless, posting luxury vacations, expensive restaurants, designer clothes, all while claiming he couldn't afford child support. I took screenshots of everything. The next morning, I called my attorney, Sarah Chen. "This is exactly what we need," she said after reviewing the evidence. "But getting the court to act quickly is another matter. The backlog is months long. My children need support now," I said, "not months from now." Sarah paused. There might be another approach. His flaunting of wealth while evading support could interest the State Enforcement Division. They have more immediate tools at their disposal. I filed complaints with the Department of Revenue's Child Support Enforcement Division the same day. I submitted every screenshot, every bounce support check, every text where Derek claimed poverty. Weeks passed with no apparent action. Meanwhile, Derek's Instagram became a showcase for his yacht parties. Each post felt like a personal taunt. Then I saw the announcement. A massive summer solstice yacht party. The event of the season, he called it. Complete with hired models, celebrity DJs, and corporate sponsors. My blood boiled as I calculated how many months of child support the extravaganza would cost. That evening, Liam came to me with holes in his sneakers. "Can I get new shoes, Mom? These hurt my feet." Something snapped inside me. I called Sarah again. The enforcement division is moving too slowly. This party is happening next weekend. Unfortunately, the system works at its own pace, she replied. Keep documenting everything. But I was done waiting for the system. I remembered Derek's business partner, Michael Reeves. He'd always been decent to me, even after the divorce. Unlike Derek, Michael had a conscience. I found his number and sent a text asking to meet. We sat at a quiet coffee shop the next day. Michael looked uncomfortable, but listened as I showed him the Instagram posts alongside my empty bank account. I'm not asking you to get involved in our personal issues, I said, but I need to understand how Derek can afford a yacht while claiming he can't support his children. Michael stared into his coffee. The yacht isn't exactly his. What do you mean? It's purchased through a shell company. The down payment came from investor funds that were supposed to go toward the Westlake development project. My stomach dropped. Are you saying he's embezzling? Michael's silence was answer enough. Our investors would be furious if they knew, he finally said. And the IRS. Derek hasn't exactly been forthcoming on his tax filings either. I left that meeting with a plan forming. If the family court wouldn't act quickly enough, perhaps other authorities would. I spent the next few days gathering information. Through social media, I learned that several wealthy investors would be attending the yacht party. I also discovered that Derek had been bragging about how the yacht was totally off the books. 3 days before the party, I sent an anonymous tip to the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, complete with documentation from public records showing the discrepancy between Derek's claimed income and his lifestyle. 2 days before the party, I sent a detailed email to the state's Attorney General office regarding potential fraud against investors. 1 day before the party, I contacted the Coast Guard with concerns about potential safety violations on a vessel that would be overcrowded with partygoers. The morning of the party arrived. Derek's Instagram stories showed preparations underway. Cases of champagne, caterers setting up, sound system being tested. I watched from my phone while folding laundry, wondering if any of my efforts would bear fruit. At 3 p.m., my phone rang. It was Sarah. Melissa, something's happening. The enforcement division just issued an immediate freeze on all of Derek's known accounts. They're citing evidence of deliberate evasion of support obligations. My heart raced. Will that stop the party? Probably not if he's operating through shell companies like you suspected. But it's a start. I thanked her and hung up, then told the kids I needed to run an errand. I drove to the marina, where the Seaduction was docked. Parking on a public overlook, I watched as guests in summer finery began to arrive. The yacht gleamed in the afternoon sun, festooned with decorations. Music drifted across the water. Derek stood at the gangway, greeting guests with champagne flutes. He looked carefree, prosperous, like a man with no worries in the world. At 4:30 p.m., the yacht pulled away from the dock, engines purring as it headed toward the open water. I followed its path from my vantage point, watching it grow smaller. Then I noticed something else. 2 Coast Guard vessels approaching from different directions. I grabbed my binoculars from the glove compartment. Through them, I could see the Coast Guard boats intercepting the yacht. Even from this distance, I could tell the party had stopped. People were clustering on the deck. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. IRS and AG investigators are at the marina. Thought you should know. M. Michael had come through. I drove quickly to the marina's main dock. By the time I arrived, the yacht was being escorted back. I parked and walked to the public viewing area, phone ready to record. The Seaduction docked under Coast Guard supervision. Men in suits boarded immediately. Even from a distance, their government badges were visible in the sunlight. Guests began disembarking, looking confused and annoyed. Some were taking selfies with the Coast Guard boats in the background. Hashtag party interrupted. Then came Derek, escorted by 2 officials. His face was ashen as they led him toward a waiting car. He looked up and saw me standing there, phone raised. Our eyes locked. For the first time since our divorce, I saw fear in his expression. One of the officials approached me. Ms. Harrington, I'm Agent Daniels with the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. We received some very interesting information about Mr. Walsh. We'd appreciate if you could come to our office tomorrow to answer some questions. I'll be there, I said. As Derek was placed in the car, his phone pinged loudly enough for me to hear. Probably notifications from the banks about his frozen accounts. The aftermath came in waves. Derek was charged with tax evasion, wire fraud, and investor fraud. The yacht was seized. His assets were frozen. The judge in our family court case was furious about the deliberate deception regarding his finances. Within weeks, the court ordered him to pay all back child support, plus penalties. The judge also modified our agreement, increasing the monthly amount based on his actual income, not the fabricated numbers he'd provided. 6 months later, Derek accepted a plea deal that included restitution to his investors and significant penalties. He avoided prison time, but received 5 years of probation and community service. The morning after his sentencing, I received a text from him. The first direct communication in over a year. "You've destroyed everything I built." I thought about my children, about the nights I'd stayed up worrying how to pay bills, about the small luxuries they'd gone without while their father sailed on his yacht. I typed back, "No, Derek, you destroyed it yourself. I just turned on the lights so everyone could see what you were doing in the dark." Last week, Emma needed new cleats for soccer. I bought them without checking my bank balance first. Such a small freedom, but it felt enormous. That evening, we sat at dinner, me, Emma, and Liam, eating takeout to celebrate the end of the school year. No more stretching leftovers, no more counting pennies. "Mom," Liam said, mouth full of pizza. "Tyler's family is going boating this weekend. They invited me." Emma rolled her eyes. "After what happened with Dad's boat? That's awkward." I smiled at them both. There's nothing wrong with boats, or success. What matters is how you get those things and what you're willing to sacrifice for them. "Like your kids?" Liam asked quietly. I reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "Your dad made bad choices, but he's paying for them now, literally and figuratively. And we're going to be okay." Later that night, as I paid bills online, all of them in full on time, I thought about the yacht. The Seaduction was being auctioned off by the government the following month. Part of me was tempted to go watch, to see the final chapter of Derek's toy being closed. But I had better things to do with my time now, like living the life my children deserved all along. Money couldn't buy Derek out of the consequences of his actions, and no yacht, no matter how luxurious, was worth the look I now saw in my children's eyes when they looked at me. Pride, security, and trust in a parent who would always put them first. That was the real treasure. And unlike the Seaduction, it was unsinkable.